Assalamu alaikum everyone. I hope you guys are doing good. My name is Arif Tariq. I am a visual artist and an educator. And today I'm super excited to take you behind the scenes on one of my favorite recent projects where I created a brand identity for a music tour. The artist that I'm working with is Maanu.
Singer, songwriter, rapper, and producer from Lahore.
Me and Maanu go way back. The first project that I worked with him was back in 2021, where I designed his album art for his very first album called Yan City. Since that, we have worked on multiple projects together. When I first had the meeting with the artist, main thing that we discussed was that we don't really want to put out just one poster and tell people to buy the tickets. We wanted to create like a whole campaign around it. We started thinking about, okay, how do we create enough hype? How do we make people excited, but also curious at the same time? And then we kind of launch and give a little bit about what the event is. And once we have that, we also think about people who are coming at the event and what do we give them so we can really enhance their experience. So then we start thinking about the visuals and the merch and everything else. So after the first meeting, I made this presentation, which kind of talks about a few things, which is what is our strategy going to be, what world are we building, and the merge deliverables that we'll have. And I started off with like a basic plan, like, okay, if we have like 4 weeks, how will the structure look like? What kind of things can we have, for example, for the teasers, for the reels, and the main poster launching and stuff like that. So as you can see in the week 1, we have this visual, which was just a random visual that I made. This is literally a PNG that I copied from Google, but this was just what I was thinking very initially. And I wanted to have that in a structure so that really helps the client understand what I have in mind. And the visuals that I'm using, all of these are basically part of my mood board. As you can see in week 2 to 3, I'm talking about how we can have some concert visuals, some tickets are live, and some community fan assets, and we could kind of think about that. After that was world building. This was more about understanding and creating a mood board and the visual language. Personally, I just felt like red is the color to go with because it felt more of a statement piece rather than just this artist is doing a concert in the UK. It's more about like, okay, this Pakistani artist is doing a concert in the UK for the very first time. So I wanted to translate that. So that's why I wanted everything to be larger than life, and that's why red came into my mind. So I kind of collected visuals that could make sense, and one of them really stood out to me. It was this one. This was a campaign that I found, and I loved everything, the bold red, the font, and how everything was beautifully structured with the actual characters being black and white. Even the environment that they have over here, it made a lot of sense to use something like this because I do use a lot of like threshold techniques in Photoshop. So I was thinking, oh, maybe I can use like a background of London or Birmingham, and I could like experiment with all of this stuff. And then you can see I found more visuals from this campaign, and you can see how the neon green, which is my favorite, and the red and everything is coming together beautifully. And then from the same campaign, I actually found their shoot, which was something that I gave to Subhan Vader Snaps to actually take some of the photos of Maanu that we actually use in the main poster and the other asset. And the last thing was merch. And in the merch, I just had a bunch of ideas that we could have stickers, tote bags, and things that we could give to people who are attending the concert pretty much. So this is basically the initial structure, which really helps me and the client understand like what will we do and which direction are we going in. The one thing that I really love, which is this visual, right? So this was just a random visual that I was thinking we can put out, which is a plane with the UK flag that we could just put as like a teaser story and people could be curious about. But this kind of, started a side quest, which was how about Maanu has his own airline, which is called Yan Air. And then we actually built this whole airline, and that became a very nice Easter egg in the rest of the deliverables and assets. So when I started off the design process, the main thing was that I did mask out Maanu from one of the pictures and place them in the middle because I knew that, okay, this is pretty much going to be the scale of it. Obviously referencing my favorite image from the mood board. The main thing was actually figuring the typography out, and as you can see, I'm just trying out different fonts. So the name of the tour is For UK Tour. For You is the name of Maanu's song, so that was basically a play on that. So I had to figure out if everything comes in a sentence, how can it make sense enough that people can understand the reference of the song and the tour. And I had to kind of figure out visually something that's already a mouthful to have it structured over here, and I played around with a lot of fonts until I found this one, which is called Contessa, and I found this on Envato. And the best thing was that it had so many variants, so I kind of experimented with that. And when it came to like structuring different text elements, I referenced one of the image from the mood board. So once I had the layout in place, I worked on the background, and this is the background. The main thing is that this was the main poster that I got. I did make a few more, as you can see. I was trying to experiment and see if I could, like, you know, play around with different styles and different compositions, but at the end of it, this was the final one. Okay, so once I had the key visual ready, this is something that we were planning to release in the next 7 to 10 days. Until that, we wanted to actually put out a few teasers, and that's where like the whole Yaner thing came into place. This is the first thing that we posted, which was this interesting visual that I made in After Effects, where the camera basically just zooms out and you can see that two like flights over here and Minar Pakistan at the back, and it looked beautiful. And then this cuts to the next scene, which is basically the plane taking off. And for this one, I was trying to figure out like how do I do this in 2D, and I saw this thing on Pinterest where someone just duplicated the shadow of the plane and just changed the size of it. That made it actually look like there's so much depth, and this is what I used over here, and it looked absolutely beautiful. And after that, we played around with like using Yaner and different things. Some of the stuff that I have over here, thanks to Saad, who helped me make some of the visuals that we actually put up on our Ajib Studio page. But the idea was that I wanted to imagine Yaner as like a brand itself, so it kind of becomes something that we keep using it again and again as an Easter egg. Got an access to an HDMI, so I thought now that we have that, I can have something in the background.
Yeah.
So I made this loop for Instagram, so I'm just playing that for now.
So
It can stay here. So at first I was playing this visual on the screen, and this is not really optimized for like a horizontal screen. So I remember I just called Saad and I was like, Saad, I need, and it was like probably like 12-ish AM in Pakistan, and I called him and I was like, Saad, I need a visual, and Saad made this. Other than that, for the digital stuff, we made a lot of like, you know, social media posts. Alongside everything, I did make a website, like a one-pager website, which is yan.co, and I made it in Squarespace because I wanted to make something very quick and easy, which looks beautiful. Okay, so we got like two shirts printed. One of them was this one. It's the logo at the front. At the back, we have Maanu, as it's United Kingdom, with the dates of the tour, as you can see over here. I made the initial design, and then my team member Zanem, he made the rest of it. And I want to show you guys the next one, which is Yeri. This is the second one. This is the airline we made for Maanu. Yeah, here. And ready for takeoff. Ready for takeoff. As you can see, this was my favorite one. I mean, we don't have all of the shirts over here. They're stuck in custom, but I'm hoping that there's going to be one left. So the shirts were screen printed, and we also got some tote bags printed, and they were basically a DTF print. And it came out pretty nice. We used the same design with the Maanu illustration for the tote bag. And one last thing that we got printed was the flight manual that Mariam made. And I wanted to obviously take the Yaner concept, and then, you know, we thought about how about we can have a flight manual.
I've been riding in town, देखने के कितनी है यहाँ आतिश भरी. I've been running from my fears now.
I think the best part about this project was that I got to work with my team at the studio, and then also with all of my friends who were coming all the way from Pakistan. Let's say Maanu, Siki, who's Manu's manager, Subhan Vader Snaps, who's a photographer. And then when I came to London, I met Sufyan, who was the tour manager and also managing Abdullah Maharvi. And then I met Abdullah Maharvi, and I met Asfand, and I was staying with Haris. So me and Haris were hanging out. So it became like a very big, fun, like art project where you have like all of your friends and everyone's working on the same goal to make the best out of this event. So yeah, I'm very grateful to be a part of something big. I think now we're at a stage where Maanu is doing another tour, which is For You Encore. So this is how everything is kind of evolving. You can see I've kept the typography the same, but this time I've kind of changed the scale of how I want Maanu to be on the main poster. I found this reference on Pinterest and I just loved this, and I felt like, okay, this is the vibe now, because the first one, as we talked about, was more like a statement piece, and now it's like, okay, now this one is just a continuation of, you know, more cities. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys very soon. Allah Hafiz.
ये दो बंदे हैं, गाड़ी में बैठ के बैठना नहीं था।
हम इसलिए बैठे हैं क्योंकि सुफियान का टाइम बचा। He's a manager.
टाइम मैनेजमेंट।
How ना मालूम हूँ मैं कि क्यों दिल में ये खुशी है, 'cause this feeling and it's overwhelming me and now I'm struggling to see. So hold me close, सबसे रोज से ही जुड़ी मेरी जिंदगी है।